All right, we're back. We're back on the podcast, and I got a special guest today. Someone that's just very good at what he does. He's an all-star. He is a TV host for the Anaheim Angels, and I like to say Anaheim, not LA, but
You're okay with that?
Anaheim Ducks as well. Kent Frenchie, welcome on the podcast.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me, man. It's been a while. We've been chatting about this
Yeah,
for it seems like the last year or so. So thanks for reaching out and having
yeah,
patience and making
right.
this happen.
No, it means a lot. And the great thing is, I've been you're working every day. I feel like no days off. Everyone gets to enjoy their summer in hockey. You're still going with the Angels. How's it been this summer with you with having the gig with the Angels?
Oh, it's been good. It's there's been some movement when it comes to the broadcast team with the Angels. They have a new play-by-play guy who is taking a lot of it. I say there's a couple guys doing it. And as a result, I've been able to get more work as a host. So I've been able to get more games. So I've been working ever since hockey ended. I've been working pretty much every day, and then finally got a little bit of a break with the All-Star game and a couple of personal days. But now I'm back at it again, and it's great. I mean, with the Angels, they started off great, but it's turned into a really frustrating season. But Corey, you can't go wrong when you got guys like Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani you can talk about every night. So very lucky to have those two guys as constant topics of conversation.
Mm,
But yeah, it's I'll admit it's been a little bit of a grind, but I love doing what I do, and it's been I'm very lucky that Bally Sports wants me to jump in and do the amount of games they let me do, and I thank them constantly because this is an ever changing world, man. Every day, so count your blessings, appreciate what you're doing, and just give it 110%. So yeah, it's been fun. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do. I know, like you said, it's been a grind, but man, it's covering baseball in the summertime. I mean, that's pretty fun. You know what I mean? I mean, in Southern California, it doesn't get any better than that.
you're right. And like you said, when you're doing your passion, it's not considered a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're having fun with it. You brought up these two guys with Otani and Trout. How has it been getting to know those guys? I mean, they're obviously the two best in the game right now, and in the MLB. What do you think? How's it been getting to know them?
They are true professionals. Mike Trout, baseball is a little bit different than hockey. When I say that, it's because there is so much money in baseball, and
Right.
Mike Trout gets pulled in so many different directions. So I haven't really had a chance to get to know him. I've just had an opportunity to observe him, and he's a pro's pro, and I think he was getting a bad rap by Rob Manfred a couple of years ago when it came to not interacting enough on social media, and I think that's so wrong because he is out there signing autographs because being a team in the West Coast too, you don't get to see these guys constantly in some of the major markets on the East. So Trouty's out there literally, Corey, 5 minutes before the game starts, he's signing autographs with fans, taking pictures. I mean, it's incredible what he does. He reminds me of a Cal Ripken when I got to watch Cal kind of towards the end of his career, and just being so appreciative to the fans, and he gets it, and you can't say that. He does stuff behind the scenes you don't see. He meets with fans, meets with kids, meets with parents. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. So my association with Trout has been more of observing. He's been more than gracious every time I've talked to him. Ohtani on the other side has been one of the most impressive students of a game I think I've ever seen. I don't think in our lifetime we really appreciate someone who just puts so much effort and time into what he does, and to get ready to pitch every sixth day and then hit every single day. Um, the preparation he does is second to none. He eats, sleeps, thinks baseball.
Right.
He is a machine with a great personality. It's kind of crazy, right? It's like you think,
Yeah.
but he's starting to show some more emotion as he gets more comfortable here in the States and with his teammates. And, everybody speaks so highly of him, but he wants to win as much as anyone I've ever seen. I mean, he will put the team on his back. And as you know, in baseball, it's tough for one guy to carry a team. And
Right.
obviously that's what the Angels can't just do it with him. But yeah, it's been awesome, man. And he's great. Ipe is great. When I talk to him through his translator, but
Right.
again, very gracious, gets it. And this is a guy too, Corey, who like there is a traveling Japanese media conglomerate that follows him
Wow.
constantly. I mean, spring training, they had a TV truck out there and they would break into Japanese TV whenever he would have it at bat or he would pitch. I mean, for someone like that, yeah, he's huge here, but we have no concept of how big he is in Japan. He is a world superstar. And then
Right.
you have guys like CC Sabathia, JJ Watt tweeting out, have you seen this guy? Are you seeing what he is doing? He's doing something nobody has done in 100 years and as good as he has done. So he's getting not only the fandom surrounding his, performance and who he is, but his peers are stepping aside and going, oh my goodness, people realize you're seeing history and appreciate every moment that, you see him play.
It's so rare to come by a player like that who can hit and pitch and do it all.
Yeah.
He's incredible, and his value is very high. But and it's tough because they have these two players that are you're gonna have to pay them. And it's tough. What are you gonna do? You got to pay the other guys that are below him that are trying to get a job with the Angels. What do you think about the whole thing with the salary cap with the Angels right now?
It's interesting because if you're giving Mike Trout already his 13-year, $430 million deal or whatever he's at, Anthony Rendon's tied up for 200 plus million over 7. He's got, I think, 4 more years left on that deal. You just signed Fletch to a decent contract. So you got some money out there already. So you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. I mean, who knows what Shohei is gonna ask for? No one's seen this before, so he could be in the 45-50 million dollar range per year. I mean, you don't know. It's a tough thing for Perry Manassian right now because the trade deadline, as we're talking about, as we're recording this, it's today.
Yeah.
All reports have the Angels not sending Shohei anywhere during the deadline, but he's certainly been getting offers and phone calls, and rightfully so. He's the best player in the game. So, yeah, you have to take a hard look if you're Perry because you got to win now. Shohei's 28, Trout's 30. You got to win now with these guys. You got to find pieces around them. You got to have you need a couple other arms. You need to fix the bullpen. There's so many other things. So you look at Shohei, and it's a tough one, man. You go out and you go, I can get maybe 4 or 5 guys for Shohei, maybe 3 guys that are major league ready that can help today because you're not in a rebuild. You're not in a rebuild with Trout. That's why it's such a sticky situation. So you have to look at everything being offered. You have to weigh what's best for the team to get the team to a playoffs as soon as possible. But then you can't put a value though on what Shohei brings as far as fans in the seats, giveaways, sponsorship. He brings so many more intangibles, right? I mean, you have MLB The Show. You got Shohei Ohtani on the cover of that. You had Shohei's the cover of baseball right now, and that brings attention to the Angels. So, and wherever we travel, Corey, it's incredible. You think, the Angels not playing well, but man, the Angel fans are everywhere. It's pretty cool to see when you go to the visiting teams and everything. It's pretty sweet to see all the different Halo fans that come out to see the game, and they come out to see Trout and Ohtani. I mean, let's not be, let's not kid ourselves here. So, yeah, Perry's got to do the best he can. He's taken over a team a couple years into his tenure, and it's all about winning now. The team doesn't want to rebuild, but you gotta listen to everything right now.
Right. And I think you made a good point in the fact that the revenue will go higher and the fan base will grow just as much. I want to actually point out, you said something about social media and Mike Trout, how he was, they had a spotlight on that. Look at the Getzlavs and the Perrys of the world. They don't have social media, but they're great in person with these fans. And we got to remember that with Mike Trout. One thing I want to transition into is yourself, your career, how you got into your passion. And my big question is, at one point in your life, did you finally become set on being a TV host, producer, and reporter?
That's the long one, dude. That's a loaded question. You know what? I tinkered around. I had no idea what I wanted to do for a long time. Undeclared at a college. I ended up being an English major, but it took me a while to get there just because more of my credits, leaned in that direction. Once I got out, it was just kind of finding out what I wanted to do. And I really couldn't find a passion. It wasn't until my late 20s. I was at a golf course working behind the pro shop. Shout out to Tustin Ranch in Irvine, or in Tustin Ranch. I started working there as I was trying to start a business, and was calling golfers to the tee. And somebody I work with says something about, you ever thought about broadcasting? I'm like, I no, never. And so I started hosting events there. I took a class at Long Beach City College, um, taking some classes there. Just started diving into it. I was delivering magazines also to create extra money out of the back of my car for OC Weekly at the time. And then I got a job thanks to my teacher at, it was KFWB radio up in LA. So I started doing overnights, not on the air though. I was just basically bringing in feeds from reporters calling to see if there were, stories out there, calling fire departments, police departments. So I was working, with a, I don't know, 7 to 3 a.m. shift. And I drive back to the parking lot at the golf course. My boss would wake me up at 6. I had to sleep there, and then I'd go do work my shift there, and just did that about 4 or 5 times a week. And just kind of felt, and then my the person that got me at KFWB, Tammy Trujillo, give her a shout out.
Yeah.
Got me a job at what was Century Communications. I had no experience. It was like I just started doing stuff in front of the camera. And then I created my own show. It was the Wayne's World of Cable Shows. It was called Sports Link, and I covered everything from Little League to pros. And I started doing that for 3-4 years. And then I started my own Angels show called This Week in Angels Baseball, kind of copied the This Week in Baseball, the old Mel Allen Saturday morning show. And luck have the draw. That was 2002 when I started it, and they go all the way to the World Series. And I got to cover that team. And literally, dude, it was hilarious. I paid my way to cover the team. My best friend would hold the microphone. I would shoot the camera. I mean, that's how we did it. It was,
Right.
I had guys, try to get camera people to help me. If not, I shot. He would ask questions. So yeah, we did all the way to the World Series. That was great. And then the next year, the Ducks were like what we did and asked now Adelphia at the time if we could create a hockey show. So I did a show called Center Ice. Started doing that. And that transitioned into, got to know the people at the Ducks. Rod Murray, who was the entertainment director, I would give my tape to him and they'd run it pregame before Ducks games. And then when the Angels and Ducks sold, or when the Disney sold the Angels to Artie, everything split because the production crews were working both Angels and Ducks.
Right.
And so then a spot opened up as production manager at the Ducks, and Rod Murray invited me in and said, "We'd like you to apply for the job." I go, "I have no desire to be in production. I still want to be in front of the camera." He's like, "We'll let you do that, but we want to bring a different perspective in." And so I did. I came in, and I hired a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine that were a lot smarter than I was, and a lot of them are still at the Ducks. And then I started the show. I was with another friend of mine called what the hell was it? It was the first internet show in the NHL unofficially, but it was called I can't even remember it. But I'll remember it. But we're doing highlights, and it was the only way at the time. I mean,
Was it the Element? Something
no, did
Element?
that one too. Yeah, that was
Okay.
a weekly. It was a half-hour show. Thanks for remembering that.
Sure.
Yeah, so we did this Ducks show, and it was the only highlight show available online. So when the Ducks went to the Cup, and then the following year we went to London to open the season against the Kings at O2 Arena, all these people were stopping me, and they're like, they knew who I was. It was the most bizarre thing. It's because they couldn't get their highlights anywhere else except on this cheesy post-game internet show. And so yeah, and then just things kind of stem from there. And I finally started to do some stuff for KDOC. Aaron Teet, president now, has always had my back, and he helped me continue that journey, and then continued to knock on the door at what was Fox Sports West. Finally started doing sideline for Ducks, and then I kept knocking on the door for Angels. Did some high school football, sideline Angels, and finally worked my way into hosting. And I don't know, I can't tell you. I think it's been 13 years, maybe 12, 13 years, wow. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a crazy run. And it's one of those things where in this industry, a lot of people, I got started late, but a lot of the narrative is you got to move away for you to be able to come back. And this is my home. These are my teams. I never wanted to leave, because a lot of people go to a quote unquote small market,
right,
send a demo tape out, go somewhere, and then try to work their way back. So I've been able to stay here, and grind it out, and I'm fortunate I did, and that's a kind of a long-winded answer, but hopefully it made sense. and that's and yeah, that kind of brings me here today. So fortunate to work with two great organizations, and the broadcasters and production people become second families, because literally you spend as much, if not more, time with these people than do your own family. And it's been great.
It's wild. You know, you go from delivering newspapers, now you're working with the Angels, you got your own show. Now you're working for the Ducks. It's like you see your career taking off, you're getting recognized by people in London. I think it's wild. It's crazy and it's awesome.
Bizarre, yeah.
My big question with you doing what you do, was there any type of inspiration with someone? Was it a parent? Was it anyone else that was a TV host or reporter that you looked up to and you're like, I want to be like him by
No,
chance?
no. Great question, but no, just it just started materializing, I think. And if I started this in my early 20s, I never would have been able to do it. I just needed to grow up. I needed to get more comfortable in my own skin, more confidence. My dad did a lot of public speaking, but there was no TV involved. My brother's an actor, but we kind of were going down the same path at the same time. So um, yeah, no, it really came down to pick something you enjoy. And at the time it was sports, and make a career out of it. And that's what I decided to do. And I think, and everyone asks me for advice, or whoever does ask me for advice, I always say, pick something that makes you happy, that brings you joy, and make a career out of it. No matter how little or more or as much money as you make, you're going to be, if you're happy doing what you're doing, you're going to be really good at it.
No doubt, I agree with you on that. So you make the transition into the Anaheim Ducks organization in 2003. I want to bring up someone that you got to spend time with a lot throughout the years. It's a close friend of mine, J.S. Shagir. How was it getting to know Jiggy throughout the years and just kind of witnessing his play on the ice as well? Do you have any good stories that I can call him after this interview and say, hey, I heard about this one?
Yeah, Jiggy,
Yeah.
gosh, I'm sure I have tons of them, but
Okay.
I want to keep him as a friend, so I don't know how much I'm going to tell you. Kidding.
Don't
No,
expose him.
so Jiggy is a competitor, man. I think when you able to follow the team, when he made the run in '03, and the look on his face, and he was being handed the Conn Smythe as a losing player, and he's crying, and you're witnessing this, and how much it meant to him, and how much it means to these players. I mean, physically is obviously second to none, as you know, but the emotional like
Right.
journey you go on
Right.
through I mean, it's the most intense playoffs in any sport, and I, you know, I want someone to argue with me about that, because there's no way you can. Um, so just the passion, and the work ethic, and wanting to win. And and I saw him become a leader. And I wasn't around enough hockey, but this guy's a netminder, and he's coming out and speaking out. He's telling people he's upset. He's telling the team needs to step up. He started becoming this face to the point where he could have worn a C. I know that's not standard when it comes to hockey, but he could have been that. He was as close to a captain as I have seen. But granted, then you had Scotty come in, and guys like this too, and the prongs were the C for a little bit. But yeah, this guy was a warrior, a leader. No one prepared like he did. No one wanted to win more than he did. And then after his playing days, he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He had that, once he was able to step out of that intensity and become Jiggy, probably at home or around his kids and his wife. He's a joy to be around. I've had some time. I've traveled to Montreal with the Ducks, and then he's come and he's met with some fan groups and whatever it is. We've had some time to chat and get caught up, and he seems like he's just loving life, coaching his kids and having a fun time. So yeah, he's one of the best, man. And I look forward to someday to watch his number get raised in the rafters at Honda Center, because I don't think, granted, the first two guys, are pretty damn deserving. Don't get me wrong. You should have been 8 and 9 that went up, but I think 35s and 27. No, I'm not, nothing against Scott. You got to have 27, but I
Yeah.
think 35 should be next, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Let's give the Samuels a little nudge. I'll do it for him.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
so, so in present time, I want to talk about a certain player that's had a lot of face time in the NHL. I think the NHL's needed a standout guy, not only on the ice, but off the ice, really. And you've spent a lot of time with them. And I just want to know, how has it been with Trevor Zegras, spending time with him and
He's great. I don't think you don't you never use the word cocky to describe Zegras. Use the word confident.
Yeah.
Um, he respects the game, but he is an entertainer. And let's put everything in perspective that the world that athletes are growing up in is a social media world. Um, they learn and watch on YouTube. They learn on Instagram or whatever the platform might be. I mean, he has been very vocal about growing up watching Patrick Kane, YouTube videos, emulating the videos. The kid's talent is second to none. Um, he has created a whole new audience for the world of hockey that hasn't been out there. Hockey's one of those that pride itself on old school. I think baseball is the same way, but you're seeing guys like Tatis, Soto, Trout, Ohtani, some of these other guys, the emotion, the bat flips, the whatever it is. I know it's the old school is kind of, the jury's out on that, but the kids love it, man. It's people want to come to the park and they want to see these guys perform. They want to see the emotion. They want to see the enthusiasm. They're playing a game. Zegras is showing that, despite the intensity, despite how important a game can be, he's having fun and he's inspiring his teammates. He's trying stuff that people are afraid to try. Um, but a lot of guys have the talent, don't get me wrong, but he's doing it and he's doing it on a consistent basis. And every time I've talked to him, it's just who he is. And he's a winner. He's won at every level. And I'm stoked to have him on this team and be able to cover him on a nightly basis. We talk about the superstars in Trout and Ohtani. He's not there yet, but he is certainly going down that path. And he is a human highlight reel every single night. Yeah, and he's a great kid. Again, he respects the game. He's great in the room with his teammates. He brings a lightness and a fun and a youthful energy to guys. I think he's inspired some of the veterans on the team to kind of re-love the game. If it's a game, and I think that you forget that sometimes because it's a grind, and the grind sometimes can overshadow the game. And I think he's been able to bring that energy on a daily basis. And it's been a terrific thing for the Ducks, but even better for the NHL.
I agree with you. And I think Dallas has even said, just be yourself. And he's loose. He's comfortable.
He's lucky he's got Dallas.
He's lucky he's got a coach like that.
Give credit to Dallas, man. And that's a
Right.
great point because there's a lot of coaches out there that would bench him or they send him down, and say, reevaluate this, whatever it is. But allowing players to be themselves, they can show their true talents. And I think kudos to Dallas, the coaching staff, and now Pat Verbeek, the new GM, for letting him be him.
Right.
I think that's huge.
That's big, and I don't think Z's going to go anywhere near Philly where Torts is. I'll say that. So with Z and Drysdale and McTavish, these young guys that are coming up, and there's a bright future. There's a stacked talent within the organization. What's your thoughts, and how do you feel about this year's team going into the training camp?
I think it's great. I mean, I think you got guys, the deals that he has done, Strome, Klingberg recently, and that's Vetrano. Let's talk about Strome and Vetrano for a moment that came over, from New York. But these are guys that are top six forwards, and so no Getzlaf. You can't replace him, right? But Strome, I've heard good things about him, not only in the ice, but I've heard the leadership qualities that he brings to the table. I mean, he could wear a letter this year. Don't be surprised. And he's a kid too. He's like a former top 5 pick. But he's coming into his own. He's coming off a career year, so it's good to see him. 29 again. He's going to be one of the. He's looked to be one of the leaders based on the youth, the guys you just talked about. Vetrano's 28, same, more of a grinder, but again, a top 6 guy that scaled 18 goals last year. I mean, that's we only had a couple guys that were scoring in Zegras and Terry. I haven't talked hockey for a little while.
It's okay.
Sorry, Terry. Didn't forget about you. But yeah, and then I think Klingberg, that's a get. I think that shows a lot about what Pat Verbeek's about. This guy is looking for a max deal. He's 29 years old. He convinced him to come and just, hey, you know what? Give it all for 1 year and show what you can. We needed, with no Hampus on the back end, no Manson. We needed some size. He can move the puck. He's a power play guy. That's going to be exciting. I think Pat's still going to go out because based on the Ricard deal, the Hampus deal, Delorier, some of these guys he got rid of at the deadline, that he opened up so much cap space. We got to get to
Yeah.
the floor. So we still have a couple more deals to be made. I think grit is going to be something that we're going to look at. You got to have, despite this being such a skilled game now, you still have to have some intimidation, some physicality, and guys are going to stand up for, all of our guys stand up for each other. You love it, but you got to have somebody out there. Delorier was perfect.
I
And he was a
agree.
guy I was hoping that would come back, but
Right.
you got to have guys that will keep an eye on Drysdale and Terry, and Z to kind of keep, police the game a little bit, if you will. You still need a little bit of that. So look for that to happen. But I'm excited to what we're doing and what he's doing. And he's not, things are happening on Pat's terms. He's not giving away 7-8 year deals. He's not, handicapped, or handcuffing this organization. He's continuing to give himself space and room. And once guys develop, then he can add the pieces around them. And I think you see him doing that now. And this first step has been very impressive. And next year, Corey, you probably know as well as I do, I've been everything I read is one of the deepest drafts in recent memory. So he'll look to himself. I mean, if guys don't get, if things don't work out this year, look him to be aggressive again at the deadline, get some more picks or whatever it may be, and fortify the minor league system. But it's exciting. I like what he's doing. I like the philosophies. I like Craig Johnson, has come back in this year, and it's about teaching. And one thing I read about Pat is that he has been preaching, you get to the NHL level and you don't just get here and play. You got to still teach. So you have a guy like Craig Johnson coming, who's been so good, we know, with the high school hockey team. And then, some of the minor league stuff he's done recently. He's got a long history with this organization. So I'm excited that he's coming back too.
I agree with you fully. And with Stromer, he brings a lot of veteran presence. And Kleinberg, I think the power play will upgrade tremendously.
Nope, I agree with you. And again, he's size, he's got a shot, he can score.
Right.
And he's motivated.
Right.
He's motivated. He didn't get the deal that he wanted. And so he's going to go out and he's going to play. And that's going to be fun to watch with these other guys. And guess who's the happiest guy on that team right now is John Gibson. Get him Kleinberg, get him somebody, get him to kind of fortify that blue line. And then let's not forget about Cam, man. I mean, he's, I hope he's a lifetime Duck, but that guy, he gets better every year, in my opinion. I mean, nobody can skate like him. I still believe Scott Niedermayer can step on the ice and be one of the top 5 defensemen in the league. I still believe he's that good.
Right.
But Cam is, he's a quiet leader. He's offensively, he's jumping into the rush. Dallas is quote unquote taking off the reins on a lot of these guys. Even when Manson was here, they wanted him to jump up. He's doing that. He's playing every day. Cam is great. I can't say enough about him and his leadership on this team. And it's going to be fun to watch him with some of the new pieces they're bringing in.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the C this year.
I wouldn't either. Yeah. I wouldn't either, but don't forget about Rico either. I mean, he's a guy I think could be a possibility too. I think Adam Henriquez has got a tremendous amount of respect on that team, and he's worn an A. So yeah, there's certainly some great candidates, on that team. So, it'll be fun to see how it shakes out.
I'm going to go back to your comment about getting some type of enforcer who can play to protect the young players. We don't want Jay Beagles, the Jay Beagles of the world, running around going after our guys.
Exactly.
One thing I want to bring up is the Stanley Cup playoffs that just happened. I think it was one of the best playoffs around in a long time with Colorado and Tampa, and the 2 best teams in each conferences. What was your thoughts on the playoffs, if you kept a close eye on it? And also, Josh Manson's a guy you spent a lot of time with. He was clutch for Colorado. Sakic did a great job in picking him up. He was a big piece of the puzzle with the winning championship team. What's your thoughts on all that?
First, I would say don't win the President's Trophy.
That curse.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I picked Florida to make a run, man. I think there's parity, which is great in this league. I think once we always say, just get in, get in, right? Yes. Anything can happen. It doesn't matter what seed you are. It showed itself again. It doesn't matter what seed you are. You can make a run. The one thing I paid attention to is our old guys, Cogliano, Manson against, Perry and Maroon. Maroon's got 3 in a row, but Perry has been, I still have not looked at his stat. I just want to know if you could be on 3 different teams in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 straight years. I don't know if that's been done, but I wanted to see him get another one. On the flip side, Cogs, love him, loved it when he was here, and then of course Manson. Um, that was tough to see, and I think when you talk about Josh, one thing that we were all thinking is there was a really good chance he might come back to Anaheim, but if you're he got offered a deal before free agency, but if I was Josh, why wouldn't I take that deal? I mean, this is a team you got a chance to win multiple cups in Colorado. I mean they're going to be good for the next couple. They're going to be very good for the next couple of years. So good on him. I stay in touch with him just through Instagram, like a lot of the guys. Just wish him the best. I think he would have been the C if he came back. That's how well respected he is in the room. Um, yeah, it's a loss, man. But I love the fact that he got a cup. I love the fact that his dad was behind the bench in Edmonton when they beat him when they went through, and in the handshake line, his dad was there.
It's
And
emotional.
yeah, yeah, and there's no one, no better teammate, no better person really talking to the media. He was just himself. It
Yeah.
was Josh was just the guy, and he was. I can't. I thank these guys when they leave, but it's true. I hate seeing them go, and I think for me being able to cover the sports, I just the way that the players are and access and stuff like that. I just get to know, or I've been around the Ducks organization. I've gone on 18 years, but I've had a chance to see these guys come up in the minors and get to know them and like Ricky and Hampus and they're good guys. They're
Right.
not just good players, they're good people. Nothing against anyone else. I'm just saying the people that I do know and associate with. But yeah, so it was tough, man. But I'm stoked for Josh, his family. uh Wish him best. Hopefully he can pick up a couple more cups because the guy's a stud.
Totally. And one guy I want to bring up too, that I've been looking forward to talking about with you, is the captain, Ryan Getzlaf. The guy could still play if he wanted to. He's got a lot left in the tank. How much of a joy was it to have him around and to spend time with him? I mean, he was such a great leader.
Yeah, was the best, man. Yeah, he was a guy, that I got to cover in the minor leagues for the Portland Pirates. I remember walking into the room to do an interview with Kevin Deneen, who at the time was the coach, and I walked in, and to my right, it was Perry, Penner, and Getzlaf. It was crazy. The PPG line was already there. Um, to watch him come up, and this is a guy too, going back just to how long I've been able to be with the organization. But what you see is a kid or a boy become a young man, become a father, become a dad, a husband. It's crazy, like crazy to see that. And there was a time too when he was having a tough time. He was given the C, and then he was having kids, and he was trying to balance a family and the responsibility to lead a team, and the team wasn't doing well. And I think there was a growing period, and he self-admittedly saying he had some growing pains as a leader, and but he once he got to the other side of that, man, he was the best, very best. I think when it comes to Getzey, there were more injuries there than we gave credit to that he was playing through.
Right.
17 years just in the NHL obviously takes a toll, and the way that he plays power forward or power, he's a power center. I mean, he's a guy that, he fought like him. And you don't see that anymore, really. Cause I remember him and Perry were the two guys, they would talk the talk, but man, they would drop the gloves. They'd be the first ones to drop the gloves. And Getzey was still dropping the gloves at the end. He was just like,
Right.
and it was, you don't see your skilled captain going after people. I think emotionally he's ready. He's won everything, as you know, every level.
He's done it all.
He's won championships, gold medals. He's won the Stanley Cup. I think he wanted one more run at it, kick at the can, but it just wasn't going to happen. I think you go back to 2015 when we lost to Chicago in the
Yes.
finals. I mean, that just
Tough.
makes me sick. Those type of things are tough, and you had a chance, and it just how the sports go. But he had a chance at a couple more. I wish he would have had at least one more. But he's a Hall of Famer, regardless. And
No doubt.
he was a pleasure. And what I appreciate about him is, like I was talking to Z and some of the young guys. about Getzey leaving. And he's like, well, he's not leaving. He's like, I'll call him if I need him. I'm like, what? Like he's going to answer your phone. Like he's going to answer your call, D. Yeah. So he has made it a point where he wants to be part of this organization and he
Yeah.
wants to help these kids. And I wouldn't be surprised every now and then you see him out on the ice skating around, kind of helping these guys, whether it's the
Yep.
face-off circle or a power play or whatever it may be. I think he's still got a lot to give, but I think he wants to give it in a different way than having to go through the grind. And with 4 kids, man, Corey, it's tough. I mean, Paige, I can't imagine, and him traveling and stuff. So
Oh, it's a
it's going to
lot.
be, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how he handles it now. I mean, I don't know if he'll make any more chicken coops or anything like that, but I'm sure he'll spend some time on more time on the golf course. I'm sure.
He's a total package. Some of the people in my circle we talked about, like in a perfect world, to have Harry come back with him for one more year would have been great. But
I
I
would have
think
loved that, dude. I was
would have been
hoping. I
great,
was hoping. Yeah.
right? I was crossing my fingers and toes for that one, but it's okay. He's got a family, and every fairy tale ends at some point. But I do see him doing some type of part time thing like Scotty Niedermayer,
Yeah.
at home and all that. But what a career, right? The last thing I want to bring up today, I think it'd be wrong for me to not bring his name up. It's your right hand man, Guy Aber. How's it been with Guy? Yeah, I know you guys are always working together. You're the pairing that's always working on game days. How's it been with Guy?
He's the best. The best, man. I mean, like I said, I'm very fortunate to work with all the guys at the Angels are terrific. The consistency at the Angels right now, there's a lot of guys kind of in a rotation with Tim Salmon, Garrett Anderson, Bobby Valentine, Denny Hawking. Gooby is more of a regular. I love all those guys though. They are wonderful, but I do get to sit next to Gee every single night for the Ducks, and I'm very fortunate. And he's a pro. I mean, he is like overnight. I mean, I can't believe I think I'm working with him 8 or 9 years now, and he has become one of the better analysts out there, in my opinion. Works his tail off, but it's you can have a hard worker, but to have like a better person, like who you consider a friend that you actually want to hang out with, like outside of work, uh, he's great. I can't say enough about him. Great husband, father. Just he brings a lightheartedness to this thing where it can be. I mentioned the word grind. I use that a lot, but you have someone who can put a smile on your face and not take things too seriously and laugh at himself, laugh at me. I enjoy when people laugh at me because I love to laugh at other people. So
Right.
it's great, man. I mean, I've been told that it translates on camera, and I'm very lucky that he is next to me and I call him my partner, but more importantly, call him my friend. And yeah, hopefully we get to work together for many years to come.
Well, I love watching you on TV. I love seeing you do what you love, and you're a complete rock star at what you do. And just keep on going. And look forward to a fun season coming out with the Ducks. And it means a lot for you to jump on the airways with me today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Corey, we go back many, many, many,
That's
many,
right.
many years. So this is a pleasure. You're doing some great stuff. I'm proud of you. You keep up the good work and stay in touch, man. Anytime you need me to jump on, let's do it again.
Appreciate it, Frenchie. We'll talk soon.